Hi, Scorpio. Alright, not feeling like Russian. Not feeling like a Russian. What's this first one? So, the mind is playing tricks on somebody. I could kind of feel that. Let's keep going. I feel sassy. How do I feel right now? I feel sassy, feel a little irritated, which means I'm kind of bumming. Right, that's usually the case. 4 cups, judgment in reverse, 3 of swords, 4 of swords in reverse. Let's keep going, and then we'll talk about the story, okay? I know, I could have chose the cards earlier, but sometimes I need another person to be there to understand, like, what's more of what's happening. To be understood. Someone wants to be understood. Just a minute. There's a few more. Let's make some space. I finally cleaned the house. You know when the house is like not even dirty, but like just a little messy, and you're like, oh my god, this is disgusting, like I can't deal with this. And then you finally like deep clean, and you're like, oh my god, it finally feels better, right? Because all inanimate objects hold energy. And when we don't touch things, even when we aren't touched, then what happens? Like, we feel separated, right? We feel, it doesn't feel right. Yeah, devil. But we're talking about good touch. We're not talking about trying to move, like push energy away, or, you know, moving something is the opposite of touching, right? Touching is coming from the center of the being. We can be moved by other people, but we can only move when we don't know our center. Do you know what I mean? And we are all weak in that way as human beings. Justice, yes indeed. That's just part of our karma as humans, I guess. The sun on the bottom of the deck. Alright. Let me try to just tune into the images versus like what the cards say that they are. Because this is like where the mind lies to us. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like when your mind is like, everything's all good. Nothing is exploding or, you know, whatever crazy. But like the mind will start playing tricks on us. Right? So something's in a separate world. And it's just like, but I want to be over there. I want to be where I was. I want to be where I was is what this person is saying. But where a person is right now, it's like they already have all these things. They have friends, they have love, they have hair, they have hands, they have shoes, they have a yard, eyes. There's like things. They have a home. It's family. And someone in this reality is just like, hey, how do I make you feel better? And this person is just like, nothing would make me feel better. I just want to be where I used to be. That's where I want to be. So someone's really focusing, magician in reverse. Yeah, the mind is not doing something correctly right now in somebody. And I know, judgment in reverse, right? It's just like something's sleeping in a person right now. And that sits next to 3 of Swords, so it's like, well, I'm supposed to feel like this. Oh, this is like where the mind says, no, life is suffering. Life is suffering. Life is suffering. I keep hearing it. Well, all right, if you're, okay, this is for the people who are having a hard time. If you're a Scorpio, for instance, I know a lot of folks have been here a long time. I really appreciate you. If you just showed up, I appreciate you also. Welcome. Point is that to me, there are 3 stages of each sign. There could be more layers, but generally speaking, it's like first, second, third, right? Gold, silver, copper. Some people are very sun energy in their zodiac sign, so they're bright and they're optimistic and they are bold and all of this stuff. Sometimes they're moon energy and they're like a little bit darker. It's a little bit darker. It's more intuitive. It's more secretive. It's more like scared sometimes, moon. And then we have Venus energy, which is just like passive, right? It's just like it doesn't really fit into one category or another. So and Venus could also just be like not even trying to succeed. It's just like I'm happy I'm happy again where I am. It's neither one or the other. So if you're in a good space right now, I thank you for being in that space. Collectively speaking, it's helpful. But I'm going to talk for a minute to people who are feeling like this, because this feeling, although we're not crying, we're not freaking out about it, I don't feel anger in my body. It's just kind of like, it's where a person feels separation from something, right? It's like they can see the sun, but they can't touch it. Do you know what I mean? And something about that, I can see it, but I can't touch it, is what is causing, again, the mind to do something that is very unhealthy. I feel like Capricorn is your friend. Maybe you have a Capricorn in your life that is helpful. Capricorn's reading this month was also immensely positive. So if we are all of the Zodiac and you need to know something about where you're at, or where you need to be, perhaps for some of you, that might be something where you're going. That could give you an indication on, I don't know, where to be strong or where to surrender, okay? Because 3 of Swords next to 4 of Swords to me is just like, no, life is suffering. Now, I guess let's be, I mean, I'm not a Buddhist. I don't label myself religiously, but like I enjoy their teachings. I don't know a lot about it. Don't take me as a I don't know, professional. I don't even know what you call that. But don't they say that life is suffering? Jesus teaches that in Christianity, suffering, right? I suffer for you. I died for you. Just like, well, all right, well, don't make me feel bad about it. Okay. So someone's having a spiritual journey right now. But it's almost as if someone isn't even at that sassy space. I feel like they're more apathetic. They're just like, why can't I feel like that? Why can't I have that? And I guess this is what I wanted to say. That's the message. The life is suffering. I keep hearing it. It's like, you're right. You're right. Life is full. We get many cups of suffering, right? Sometimes it's filled with tears, sometimes it's filled with blood, sometimes it's filled with cum, sometimes it's filled with spit. It's just like there's all these shit, right? It's like there are these many levels of suffering. But that isn't all of life. And there are more happy cups, or cups that could be filled with things that are happy and bright, right? Lemonade on a hot summer day. Your favorite beer, if drinking's okay for you to do, like a tall glass of water, fresh water, like coming out of the spring. You know what I mean? It can be filled with love. It can be filled with friendship. It can be filled with faith. But I've been sitting with this. Maybe this will help you. I just heard faith is not a feeling. I've been sitting with that, right? Sometimes we don't feel. 4 of Cups. Libra had this card. Sometimes we don't feel like we want to feel. And sometimes no matter what way we think about it, we can't stop focusing on the thing that we don't want. It's really hard. Maybe some of you have Mercury in Scorpio. I know I do, and I know I can become... That's one of my downfalls of Mercury in Scorpio, is that it can be obsessive in its thinking. Once you fall down the well and you get in there, that's where your mind's at. I'll never get the fuck out of here. I deserve to be down here in this pit. Then we'll just be like, okay. Now, I suppose part of the life is suffering can bring an essence of... Sometimes we have to be like, okay, I feel this way. But we don't want to dwell there too much, because if there's no one else around, and this is why Scorpio isn't supposed to isolate or be too much of a homebody. You gotta socialize, you gotta get out, you have to touch people, you have to be touched, right? In a positive way. You know, this could just be going and get a manicure, pedicure. It doesn't have to be somebody that's like sexual or whatever. Okay. You're gonna get your power back about the, like, when the sun... I think when the sun... I know this seems a little far, but when the sun... I think until August, some of you are gonna... And maybe this hasn't happened for some of you yet. You haven't felt this way. Maybe you've been feeling this way. That might seem a little long. It's June now. It's like, okay, July, August. So for the next 2 months, say for instance, it was kind of like, this fucking sucks. This is hard. This, I don't know how to shift this feeling. Right? We all get lulls. There's no way to always be like swinging, you know, throwing strikes. Do you know what I mean? How is that possible? It's not fucking possible. So maybe that's another thing, is like someone's just like, I don't need to be happy. But I think that's a little tricky, because if the mind goes too long, again, isolates in the energy of like, well, I'm going to surrender 3 of Swords and the King of Wands. It's just like, I'm going to... I mean, I guess when we cry or we're frustrated, then we're trying to release toxicity from our soul, right? From our body, from our soul. So we're meant to feel it. But I think that's why we're supposed to be around other people sometimes, even if it's just to go to the store. You know, like basic stuff. I'm thinking about when I was really depressed, and like, it was hard for me to go anywhere without crying. Really, like, I couldn't control my emotions at all. And sometimes even now, like, I had a day recently where I was just like, tears would just come out of my eyes. And then I remembered that, like, around this time, somebody I knew died, you know, or like, maybe for some of you, this is some kind of anniversary. I don't know. But it's healing something. So again, this could also be the full moon, which is in Capricorn, the end of the month. I also see by the time we get to then, and then when we get into August, a person doesn't have this energy anymore. They're like in a different zone. So if you can, Scorpio, try to be creative in this. I would not drink alcohol. If you're in this spot, I would not drink alcohol. I would not do any kind of vice that is like your natural tendency where you abuse yourself. Right? Maybe some of you are quitting a habit. That could be part of the thing where it's just like, well, I quit drinking. All right, who am I now? I just quit this habit. Who am I now? I don't date this person anymore. Who am I now? If you were defining yourself through a thing, that could also be part of it, where it's just like being reminded of my ex-boyfriend. He drank all the time, and he was a musician. And when he stopped drinking, he was like, I don't even know if I like music. You know what I mean? Chariot and the Moon in reverse. It's like, yeah, now that my feelings have changed, where am I going? you know, and I think that's where a person is now reflecting back into the past, perhaps. I don't know if it's just like old thoughts or like old patterning. Now, the thing in the past that you want to come back to you, I heard you can't have ultimately that, for all of you, you can't have that absolute thing, but you can have the feeling again. Because that's really what's missing, is the feeling of something. It's not the physicality. Because you don't have any earth here until you get to the Three of Pentacles, which is more about your work and your money. Which for some of you, that may also be changing in some kind of way, right? Three of Pentacles is like, someone wants... Well, again, I'm seeing Capricorn energy, where it's just like surrounded by good folks, even if that's just one or two. Okay? Because you know what? You have the Four of Cups twice, and then you have the Five of Cups. So this is kind of tricky, Scorpio. I do see you by August, a person is feeling much better. It could just even be Four of Cups may just be this month. With the fours, it's like there are 4 weeks. It could just be that, where it's like, I would say a person's intuition in relation to their interpersonal world is not on point right now. Again, someone could be like expecting the worst of something, or again, only focusing on, and I know it's super hard, right? I've been reading that James Allen As a Man Thinketh, which is all about like, well, you got to think good thoughts about yourself and about life and what you're aspiring to do and this and that to make it happen. But it's almost like when I read it, I understand what this person is saying. When I connect with this, I understand what this person is saying. But in another way, I'm like, wait, well, what if like, it goes back to that thing where it's just like, oh, you suffer for me, so like, oh, I'm supposed to feel guilty? Because not everyone is set up to be happy-go-lucky. Right? We all have these like certain dispositions, and I'd say anyone with strong Scorpio or strong Pluto energy is like, you're not a, like, you shine brightly, but like it's a whole different can of worms when it comes to what the soul needs to learn. And I suppose a big part of that could very well be, like, how do I find my happy? Because it won't come from anybody else. It won't come from your job. It won't come from money. It won't come from sex, right? It won't come from these other things. We can, once we have it, we can have those things and we can feel good as we're interacting with them. But, like, individually, like, it doesn't... That's my experience in astrologically speaking. So if you're naturally depressively inclined, I see please no drinking. You could also just be feeling tired. Four of Cups is like, I don't have a lot of energy. I don't have a lot of energy. Right? Judgment in reverse. Usually Judgment is people waking up. So this is something, again, it's sleeping. So maybe there was a pain that was asleep that wasn't able to be processed until right now. And for whatever reason, this is the cycle. And for some of you, I don't feel, even though there's the Three of Swords, Four of Cups twice, Five of Cups, Devil, for whatever reason, this doesn't scare me. Because I know it. But I think maybe this is just the time to process something And healing comes through all different ways. I would also say that if you're in this zone, you probably don't feel like working very much, or you don't have a lot of energy for work, or when you're at work, you're thinking about something else. If your job is very emotional, I would definitely check your energy or try to reschedule clients. If you're like a Reiki person or somebody who does energy work, I would hold off a little bit. Like, especially if you're like physically touching anybody, because that's going to create some kind of weird like projection energy. Moon. Yeah, it's tricky. It's tricky. I would definitely say you're going to get extra energy. I would clean the house too. That will help things. You know, open up the windows, like get fresh air in places. Queen of Pentacles, King of Cups. Look how chill these people are. There's 5 of Pentacles, 5 of Cups. Okay, Libra had all the 4s, you have all the 5s. Look at these people, how chill they are. They're not like afraid of anything. It was just 2112. What came after that 4 of Pentacles? Aries had this 5 of Pentacles. That's interesting that Libra had all the 4s and you have all the 5s. So let's keep going. I think what happens is someone has to feel something, but it's actually very mental. It's not emotional. I feel like a person has already cried about this, even though it could come through that. It's less like, it's almost like a person feels empty. Like they don't see the point of something. Death. Ace of Pentacles. No, it's like the material world is not satisfying right now. That's not what's gonna bring, again, the thing. It won't. It's just like, no, this is not a time for like manifesting the physical thing. No. It's about putting the mind in order, like understanding the chess game behind your mind. I know that's trippy, but... So again, I need you to remember that it's either until that full moon, by the time we get into July, which will be a trine to you, and then as we move forward, so July, August, till that moon, I feel like just take it easy. Take it easy, killer, right? Take it easy. I wouldn't call anybody out on their bullshit or like send text to somebody or email, like, you know, like trying to get into these big conversations with anybody. Not that you can't express who you are. I'm talking about like, I don't even think a person's interested in that. It's like someone could call and someone would be like, I don't even feel like answering. So I wouldn't turn your back on your friends if you're in this zone. But maybe just let them know. Like, look, I'm just kind of going through some stuff, but like, can we meet up next week? Or like, I just need, or if it's like, say this is your partner or something, they're just like, what? Because I could see that where someone's partner could be like, hey, like, what do you need? How can I help you? And it's just like, nothing satisfies them right now. What they need is something, again, it's because it's almost like they know that this physical thing outside of them can't bring them what they want to feel like. Do you know what I mean? And so again, as we move forward, the moon into July, and especially once we get into August energy, the July-August energy, it's so much lighter, it's so much brighter. It's like, hallelujah, amen, yeehaw. It's like the mind finally, because then we have the Ace of Swords. That's awesome. It clears it out. It clears it out. And all of a sudden, person's feeling like much more confident in what they're doing and their connections with other people, their money, all of that. It's like the things, they're there. Now, I will say that if we're just taking it this month, it could also be the beginning of this month. The first third is like we talked about. The middle, the second third is good. The third third, it gets back into tricky. That Four of Cups comes creeping in again. But I think it's where a person can like see their shadow. It's like they can see their shadow. Have you ever seen your shadow? I saw my shadow once. I was crying in a mirror in this restaurant I was fixing up, and that it was underground. It was Scorpio. And my whole, like, all these things were happening. All these awesome things were happening. But, like, there was, like, one tough thing. I think I was quitting cigarettes then, too. But long story short, I went in the bathroom just to give myself some space, and then I just started crying. And when I did, I was washing my hands, and I looked up in the mirror, and when I saw myself crying, I just started crying even harder. And when I did, I could see my shadow. And the harder I cried, because I actually saw it and focused on it, it got bigger and bigger and bigger. So maybe you'll see shadows, though, that will be helpful. That could also be something, because I'm seeing this is more of like someone is separated from something. This is also getting out of isolation. I heard, don't think that the person that you see, where you look at them and you're like, oh my God, they're so happy. I heard they're happier than me. 9 of Cups, 5 of Pentacles. Well, I heard maybe you just need to, some of you need to remind yourself that you have different karma. Right? Some people just have different karma. You know, for instance, my boyfriend has a very prominent, beautiful, exalted Jupiter placement in his chart. And he is just naturally happy all the time. Wicked, he's a very lighthearted person. I mean, you can talk about serious things, you can do all that, but like, he is so optimistic. He really believes, because Jupiter is our happiness in our chart, he's like, he really believes that everything's going to be fine. I, for instance, have I have a more debilitated Jupiter. So for me, it's like, I don't necessarily always feel that way. And sometimes I need an external example in the physical world to be like, is everything going to be okay? You know, I need God to show me something. Not exactly signs and symbols, but like something to happen to make me feel, right? It's like, and again, we all work differently. Now, not to contradict what we were saying, where the physical thing doesn't give that feeling. It can give that feeling, but it never stays. Do you know what I mean? It's fleeting. Because faith is not a feeling, it's a choice. But it's really hard to hold that choice and to hold that position when sometimes, for instance, we come into this world as a soul and we just have like a lot of built up sin. From, I don't know, mistakes we made in the past, or the ways we fucked other people over, 5 of Cups, or whatever kind of karma we got to work through. You know? I mean, who knows? Maybe really people that come into this life are depressive, used to be really happy, and they would judge other people for being sad. Who fucking knows? We don't know. We're making it up as we go along. So you come up with the decision, the answer to why you feel, I guess, how you want to feel. But also know that feelings are fleeting, right? Now to close this out, we have the Devil and Justice. Let's see. So the Devil has to do with the past. So for some of you, this is a relationship of the past. Because I'm seeing the Two of Cups between this 4 and 6. So it's like, and here's the Ace of Cups with the 4 of Cups. So it's like, again, someone's trying to find how they want to understand why. But again, if this has to do with an external situation, it doesn't, I know this is so easier said than done, but like, it doesn't have anything to do with that. It's not about your ex. It's not really, like, that could be a part of it. It could be about partially to like your child or your ex or your mother or your father or whoever. This life, another life. But the reality is that it's not exactly that, because this life is just a dream. What? Give me a second. What's that about? This doesn't quite feel, it doesn't feel to me like a dark night of the soul. Exactly. Like, again, this isn't scaring me. Because I'm a pretty sensitive person. Even through the reading, like, I'll feel it in my body where I'm like, whoa, that's scary, or this is really, really sad, or like, I guess I'm protecting my energy because this is not this is not my own. I'm reading, but like, it's what we're talking about here. I guess the way we're able to talk about it is very intelligent. So maybe Pisces energy would be helpful, because they talked about pulling consciously from unconscious drawers. And it's almost as if a person has, maybe you're ahead of that, or you've already done this, and now all the drawers are empty, and the person's like, when something empties, it starts to fill with spirit, not a physical thing. Now I want to cry. I understand your suffering. What are you doing creatively? There's judgment. I think a person is releasing some old energy that's been, because 4 of Cups is also very stagnant emotionally. You know? And again, it doesn't have to be that there's a bunch of life that's bad happening. I don't feel like there is. There's so many positive cards here. And there's actually a lot of people around you that love you and like want you to be in their life and whatever. I mean, do they really know who you are? I don't know. How much do you show them? But yeah, some sleeping energy, I guess, is awakening. Huh. Somebody could also be Leo rising, Six of Cups and the Devil. Like Capricorns or Saturn's in the 6th house. So you want to take care of your health. And because this energy is so stagnant, maybe a part of what some of you need is more exercise, like physically pushing, right? Mars is going to be opposing you in Taurus. So like, you don't want the bull to have red eyes, right? You don't want to get mad here. We're not talking about anger, pushing things out. It could just be like getting your heart rate up, moving your body in your own private space, you know, or I don't know, maybe you go out dancing, like little things will make a big difference, right? And if for some reason, some of you, because if you're still here, you're feeling this, if you are feeling, because again, 4 of Cups, 5 of Cups, 3 of Swords, this is all kind of 7 of Swords, the Devil. These are, they're annoying cards. At this point, it's not feeling detrimental to me. It's annoying because, again, we already know this energy. So it's like, maybe, how do I explain this? Oh, we talked about this. Remember after Zumi died, we did that reading with and I was just like, we were talking about, oh, okay, I don't feel good. I'm gonna push through everything. Right? And I had the shovel behind me that I buried Zumi with, and I walked through things, and I was like, God, I wish a snake would bite me, and da-da-da-da-da, asking for my own suffering, just to make it worse, so hopefully I can get through it. You don't have to be that rough on yourself. You don't have to be that rough on yourself. And if you are, because if this energy isn't really big, like say it isn't full depression, but it's like you can tell that because that's why I brought that up, is in that reading we talked about, like, what are your cues for not feeling so hot, right? Is it piles of laundry on the floor? Is it dishes in the sink? Is it you haven't taken a shower for a couple days? Like, whatever your deal is, everybody's got their own trigger points. If you, whatever, you fill out your sheet of like what your things are. If those are happening, then I would definitely at least get 20 minutes of exercise a day. This could be something very basic as just walking. You don't even got to get your heart rate up, but you want to get sunshine and you want to move your body, right? Because if you move your body, then your mind will actually calm down. If we're too stagnant, then the mind starts whipping around, and we don't, that's not what we want. We want to quiet the mind. I mean, if you can sit with the feeling that doesn't feel good, I think that's healthy. Like sitting with it until it feels better. But again, if you've been a person that's like, I don't know, I keep hearing the word isolating, 9 of Swords, yeah, then that's not going to help anything. Like, if you try it and it's not working, and it's been X amount of time, then you got to do something differently. Okay? Interesting reading, Scorpio. I hope this was helpful. Ace of Swords. Okay. I'll talk to you later. Peace out.